I can always be somewhere else. I need to more intentionally choose where I'm going to be. Yeah. Well, one of my strengths is being an arranger. And so, especially when I had all the kids at home, just keeping track of all their different schedules. And, um, that was something I really had to stay organized. You got to stay on top of it. You've got to, you know, just I'm also the one who can really cook in our family. And so, making sure that I make good plans and carry them through and stay organized and do things in mass quantities and plan ahead. And I became a big believer in freezer meals for a while there. But also just, trying to keep it healthy. We became vegans for a while, a number of years back. And I really embraced that because I felt like I had gotten to a point where I was just feeding people. I wasn't really cooking for people. And so that's something that I think is important to keep it healthy as well for everybody. And, trying to be present and at the important events is really important. I am privileged right now to be a part of the Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce's Leadership Grand Rapids, Leadership GR cohort. And we've been hearing each other's leadership stories. And yesterday I heard a number of them again, and they all came back to what they had learned from their parents and, fathers and mothers and grandparents that had taught them. And it made me again realize I can put a lot of time into my work and my career, but who am I really teaching and who am I impacting for the long term? I've got to keep my children as a priority. And so I do that. I step away from a very busy Zoom schedule, and I step away when my son comes home from school. And I've blocked off time so I don't have meetings during that time. I may still be doing other things, but I make sure there's space for him to kind of come back and know that I'm present. And that's been a real gift. I think there's been some gifts during this COVID season, and that's been a gift. Normally, I travel 25 to 30% of my time. And so, I can be into 10 to 15 countries every year. And so I missed out on some things. And the very first year of being executive director at World Renew, I missed every single one of my children's birthdays.
Oh,
And
no.
yeah, and that was a learning experience for me to say, okay, I can always be somewhere else. I need to more intentionally choose where I'm going to be and who I'm going to be with, and to look ahead at those important dates and realize those are things you can't get back. And I think with the incredible loss that we've had in life and in connection during COVID, we understand better and at a deeper level what you can't get back and what's truly important. Personally, I've lost over 15 people who've passed away because of COVID. COVID hit the Navajo Nation really hard, really hard. And so you start to look at those relationships differently. And when you can't have that contact, you suddenly realize how much you took it for granted, and you don't want to do that anymore. So I try to do some things, in my daily role to block out time so that I'm blocking out time for family. And I also take a pretty hard stop on the weekends. Now I'm an early riser, so I do some work in the mornings on the weekends before my family wakes up. But I don't hit send on a single email over the weekend. I read them, but if I need to respond, I save it in the drafts or use something like Boomerang and send it later. Because I want to model as a leader as well that we've got to have Sabbath. We've got to have a break from our work. And my staff was going under in the first couple months of being remote, because we've been remote since March 16 of 2020, and we needed to give people some permissions and help them set boundaries. And as a leader, I feel like I need to model that, and so I make some pretty good boundary lines for myself, which I know is experienced by the people that I lead.
Yeah, I think that's something most people don't realize is like the act of sending an email after hours, what that induces. So one, as you said, it models a behavior that maybe we're not really after, um, and it says, okay, well, this is acceptable. But then two, it also, I mean, for me, it's as I get emails after hours, it's anxiety inducing. It's like if I check my email and I have an email there that came from somebody later, even if they're not intending me to respond to it immediately, I won't stop thinking about it until I respond.
Right.
And it can ruin a weekend
Yeah. Yeah.
really quick.
Yeah, it really can. And when you're the leader, the director, there's an unspoken expectation that you're going to respond. And some people, especially as we work in a global context, in some cultures, that hierarchy, is very much present on somebody's mind. If the quote unquote boss emails you're supposed to respond right away. And so, just kind of protecting people from me, from myself, but also from themselves is something I try to do.